The next one I want to talk about is PAWS. PAWS, if you don't know about it, is post-alcohol withdrawal syndrome. And I say that like it's a thing, you know. I call it prolonging alcoholism without any sense. Right? This is a theory that is taken as fact. And for me, it's one of those things that it just prolongs this agony. It's good if you want to continue thinking that you're an alcoholic and you want to continue playing that victim card all the way through your life. For me, it's a bit like in the scene in The Godfather 3 where Al Pacino says, "Just as when I thought I was out, they dragged me back in." That's the mentality that this kind of thinking brings about. You know, it's just prolonging that agony of I'm an alcoholic. I'm something wrong with me. This is, why would you even think about this? You know, from that perspective. You know, and the biggest problem is that most people don't read scientific papers, and even if you do, you'll often find as many scientific papers disproving the idea that you want to adhere to, as there are papers that agree with your position, right? But most people don't look at scientific papers. They don't look underneath the hood. They look at their messaging from the media. And I don't know if you've noticed, you know, in the last few years, probably the last couple, 2-3 decades, there is no such thing as journalistic integrity now. That's all gone. It's all about that instant gratification mentality, getting the quick buck and telling you whatever's going to achieve that end. So this is one of the reasons why I can never get on board. I never got on board with the AA, because they have that alcoholic for life mentality. That's what they preach. And for me, it's just a stupid idea, right? It's the same thing as stopping smoking and saying to yourself, well, no, I'm a smoker for life. I'm always going to be a smoker. I'm just one cigarette away from going back to and I'm sure if there is a Smokers Anonymous, that's what they preach. It's the same thing if you're obese and you lose the weight, that you continue to call yourself fat for life. You know, from my perspective, I have the power in myself to do the changes that need to be made. I can change. You know, there's plenty of people that told me I can't change in my life, but it's not right. So, once you stop drinking alcohol, it's got nothing to do with the alcohol anymore. As I said before, it's the mindset that you have. It's how you see the world. It's how you define the world. That needs to change. Einstein, I think it was, said that the definition of insanity, or something along these lines, said that the definition of insanity was looking at trying to solve a problem with the same state that caused it, the same thinking that caused it, the same thoughts, the same behaviors. You know, the more you believe this stuff, the more you get caught up in this trap, and it affects everything about yourself. It affects how you view life. It affects how you view other people. It affects how you view yourself, which is the most important part. I focus on reality as much as I can, which means keeping my mind away from the bullshit as much as I can. We've got this thing in the program called the vigorous cycle. We talk about this a lot, and one of the things that is at the top of my list is being careful what you put inside your mind. You know, we talk about alcohol from that perspective of being careful of what you put inside your body, but you also have to be careful of what you pollute your mind with. The kind of things that you put into your mind, and there's so much now. There's so many opportunities to ruin your own internal thinking ecosystem. So focus on reality. You know, like, don't focus on just theories. A lot of things are theories, and you can't help it. But you know, look for the proof. You know, most people look at these things like PAWS as an excuse. They look at it as a reason why they're not achieving things. Like I said, it's that instant gratification mentality still. If you're not putting in the work in order to, if you get past day one and you think that everything's going to get better for you, then, then it's going to be maybe 6 months before you get a wake up call and you think that nothing is happening. You've got to look at where the real reasons behind you not achieving things are in life, and I've gone through this. It's not, I've gone through made so many mistakes since I stopped, but at least since I stopped, it wasn't, as I said earlier on, that 1 step forwards, 2 steps back mentality. It's gone beyond that. So at least when I make mistakes, I understand why I made the mistake, or I try to find out why I made the mistake, and I try and at least educate myself on it. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 mistakes, to be honest, before you really get the lesson that you need to learn. But habit change is like that. Like I said, it takes hard work. It's complicated. It's messy. It's always going to be full of failures, and you have to learn from your failures. That's the only way that you can get through this. If you can't learn by your own failures, then a lot of people have failed and then they give up and they say, well, there's no point in doing it. But that's the only way that you learn. I mean, another great way is learning by other people's failures. That's why the forums are so good, listening to other people and their journeys and how they're going through their journeys. And you can learn that way. That's a smart way of doing it, right? So you don't have to go through the same things yourself if you're listening and if you're integrating those lessons inside yourself. But at the end of the day, it is down to that. It's work. Not in the sense of going out there and fucking beating your head against the wall and working for somebody else. I'm talking about working on yourself. And not because you've got this line in your head saying you're worth it, like this crappy fucking commercials that are out there now, but because you believe that your life is worth it, because you believe that it's only through this effort. It's only through the effort that you put in for yourself that you're going to get the results that you want. So pause and shite like pause. This idea is, it's going to keep you in that alcoholic mentality. It's going to keep you in the victim mindset. And more importantly, it's going to keep you away from focusing on the things that you should be focusing on. So there's a dual thing there, right? Remember, cause and effect. The opportunity cost. What you're focusing on means that you can't focus on something else that is as important or more important, right? Choices and trade-offs. So if you choose to believe pause, you're going to get pushed down this rabbit hole with all the other shite that entails. So I hope that makes sense.